stories that move mountains.
Truth that breaks chains.
This isn't just a podcast, this is a movement. Welcome to the Testimony Godcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Testimony Godcast. I hope you guys had a great week. We have a great episode lined up for you guys today. This one's called Glory to Glory. We're going to start off with our verse of this episode. It is 2 Corinthians 3:16. Let me bring it up here, get the book. If you guys have your Bibles, join with me. And that verse is, "But whenever someone turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. For the Lord is the Spirit, and wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." So all of us who have had that veil removed can see and reflect on the glory of God. And the Lord, who is the Spirit, makes us more and more like Him as we are changed into His glorious image. Now, reflecting back on like a couple of our previous episodes, tying into this one, it's about just starting that journey, cleaning up your life. This one's talking about more the fact of, you're on that journey now, and the Lord's taking you, He's making you more and more like Him. You're becoming more like His glorious image in all ways, whether that's things you're doing on a daily, with even how you're looking, like you can tell when the people truly found Him and are living by His standards and His ways and for Him, because you could start to see in a weird way like a glow develop. So you're starting to get your glow, everything's lining up. That's what this one's about. This is the episode of Glory to Glory. We're gonna, looking at my notes here, gonna actually read. My Bible's pretty cool. Okay, off topic. In it has like little pointers at the bottom that it can reflect on verses to like explain them better. It only selects a certain few that like have a bigger meaning. I hope that don't sound bad, but kind of does. Geez, the whole Bible obviously is a giant, meeting. The word's powerful. I'm not trying to just say only some parts are good. Just want to clear that up now. But I just described the point, the highlighted stuff at the bottom. It just really kind of just takes like little things that you can reflect on and grow from if you're struggling in certain areas. That's way better way to say it. I wasn't gonna end the episode there. I just treat most of these like a live experience. So we're gonna keep rolling here. So I'm gonna touch on this verse here. The pointer aspect of it is it says, "The glory of God is seen in the new covenant as well as the old, but rather than being reflected on the outside, as with Moses' face, the glory of the new covenant is a transformation from the inside out. This glory shines through the lives of all who trust Jesus Christ and whose lives," and I'm struggling today, guys, "are filled with the Holy Spirit. While our glow is not a physical manifestation, God changes us from glory to glory by His grace. The further we progress in our relationship with God, the more visible God's glory becomes in our lives." That is huge there. Sorry it took me a while to get there. Bear with me. Jeez. Get back on track. Let's go. Okay. So, yeah. So like I was just saying, so you start this journey, right? And you're cleaning up your life. Everything's like really starting to fall into place. You're noticing change in yourself, in the environment you put yourself in. You're more of a go-getter for all the good rather than the bad. You start having like an eye for the bad people, the bad things. You like become, more avoidant of that lifestyle and people, and this is what it's talking about. The more you trust him and chase God, the more visible God's glory becomes on your life. So he'll also start gifting you in massive ways, more than you can ever imagine, right? um I can't even explain what he could end up giving you. It's endless. It's more than you can even think of. I know that just from experience. He's When you're on track with him and you know it in your heart, and you're trusting him, you're following him, you're doing everything you can to um, just have that relationship with him, and you're deleting all the bad, and you're not giving the devil any open doors, and so on. um, it really starts to check out, and he loves showing it and letting you know, like, this is him, so you could obviously praise him for it. But it's also just the fact of doing all that good is never for nothing. It's not like a relationship where you give and he just ignores you, and this is what I expect, deal with it. He's not that type of father. And he loves gifting you for it. He loves the praise you give afterwards for your dedication to him. And he's never greedy about it. He gives way more than we can ever imagine. And I really want to get to my next point here. It's actually going off of last week. Um, it is, we are meant to change and grow over time. Always move forward instead of staying in the same place, and don't ever quit. So on this journey, right, and you're trying to be on the narrow path is what I'm actually talking about. And like I said last week, I don't want to really rehash it and waste too much time on like repeating things, but um, it does go to this this walk on the narrow path. It's going to feel longer, and the enemy's going to mess with you and try to make you get comfortable in areas, try to make you become lazy in some areas, or this is where you stop. And kind of falls into why I put never quit. There might be even moments where all that hard times and everything start to surround you, and you're thinking you're all that time with God that you're doing, and all that cleaning up you're doing is going nowhere, and God doesn't hear you, and just absolutely the craziest thoughts end up hitting you to try to push you to quit. And I'm telling you, that's all for a reason to just keep pressing in, because the gift after the fact, after you know, push the devil away and he flees, um, the gift after the fact is massive. And everything you're worried about, what's going to happen here, this is always going to be bad. How do I clean this up? How do I deal with this situation? How do I deal with this person? How do I live my life? All of those questions, they will all become answered, and it'll all make sense. So just trust the process with him, and don't let the enemy win. Seriously, that's what I wanted to touch on that point there. Sorry about my dog. He's really jumpy in the background today, if you guys hear that. Um, but I do want to talk about this process. Going into the next point is, it is a process. So it is a process that doesn't happen all at once. It is an endless journey that follows a step-by-step process throughout your whole life. Never become impatient or greedy, for then it'll probably delay your journey, which would, when there's delay or comfortability, is the door that opens for when sin and the enemy can come in. Um, when you're on track, and you know what God's telling you, and you know his ways and his doings and everything in your life, the enemy's voice becomes so much smaller, because you know it's not from God. Okay. um, that doesn't mean that the enemy goes silent and says, "Oh, he's perfectly on track. This guy's a goner for me. I'm moving on." No, he will keep trying to test you with, whether that's situations, people, whatever, but they'll become a lot smaller to you, because you'll be on the right track. Excuse me, and you'll know that it's not from God, and you'll know that that person, that situation, that place, whatever it is, God's not putting on your journey with him, because it just won't make sense. Okay. It won't line up to, we'll say, like your timeline, your path, or whatever. It won't fit. And when the moment like that hits you, and you're like, this doesn't fit. This don't make sense. Like God would not send this here. Turn to Him, continue to trust Him, and just always be moving forward on your journey and stay on that narrow path. That's why it's the narrow path, because stupid things like that pop up will try to make it look so easy to just jump off or switch past, and you might not even think you really did, because of how some of these situations are so sneaky, and how He's constantly just walking around you. It says that He's constantly is walking around like a hungry lion, just waiting for that moment. Just don't give in to that moment, and you'll honestly be fine. Now, I'm not saying that um once you turn to the Lord's word and to Him and doing everything He says, that it's always going to be okay. It, like I already said in this video once, the enemy's not gonna just give up. It actually gives him more reason to try to come after you. But with that being said, again, um, your heart will be way more on track than when you started. Um, you'll have that communication directly with God to be like, there's no way this is you. This is not your doing. Like, I'm losing my mind, right? Like, this is obviously from the enemy. What do I do about it? Just go to Him. Even if it seems really testy and like I should see what this is about, always go to Him first. That little iffy feeling, that little pause before you just like jump, you gotta just always check with Him first, because you don't understand. Like, there's situations where it could seem the wrong can seem so much of the right, if that makes sense, that it's like a attack where it just blinds you, and you just take that jump, and you don't go into asking God or trusting His plan, and then you're kind of stuck, and then you're in a really bad situation, because the devil don't just attack you. You'll know it's from him when it destroys everything around you, not just you. So, like I'm saying, whether that's relationship, family, career, um, just small things you love, if it just ripples into all that when it was just felt like it was supposed to be a thing where you questioned about yourself, but somehow um, everybody's destroyed by it, and now you're at war with the whole world and whatever else. Yeah, that's when you know you messed up, and you didn't do things accordingly. But we do learn from our lessons. We are forgiven. So if you do slip a couple times, just remember to always remember what path you're supposed to be on. Okay, it's always a narrow path, and these situations, if you come from that, now you know to just turn to Him first before making a decision. Or if something's testing you, or feeling like you don't know which to pick, east or west, turn to God and see what's going on. Because 9 times out of 10, from experience, every time it was from God, it was never like a east or west decision. It was always, this is what it is, this is what's going to happen, follow it. It was never like you had 50 overwhelming options and your brain's melting and like everyone's hating you because of it. You see how it just stumbles. That's really what I want to mostly hit on this whole lesson, is not falling into that. Okay. Next, I want to say, well, it's actually following that last thing, is one season of growth will lead to another, will lead to another, will lead to another. Okay. When you're on the right track, you'll continue to grow and grow and grow with Him. It'll never be an endless thing. You'll just feel closer and closer. He'll be giving you glory, and then you'll pass that glory, and it'll be another and another and another. That's when you know you're right with Him. You're following the right path, and All these stupid little attacks and everything will just fall off of you. They won't even have a say in anything you do. You will come to a point where you will actually laugh at these situations that pop up, the small voice in your head that tries to convince you otherwise. You will actually be able to laugh at this, and you'll pretty much identify where it's coming from because you're so on track. And um, how I want to end this episode here is something that means a lot to me that nobody really knows. Only two people, maybe only one, two, something like that. But let's just get it right. No one knows this. And I'll tell you what, this lesson, when I was writing it a couple days ago for you guys, and came to me, I was getting to the bottom here, the ending of the episode, right? And it hit me and was like, you got to let the world know this. This happened for a reason. Um, it's nothing to hold on to. Uh, and honestly, for years, I'm talking, I'll check with my wife, but I'll say 7 years, six. I wouldn't say anything under six. This happened, okay? Now, this comes to a point where I'll start the story. This is my first time, this is my big revealing moment on something the enemy messed with me for 6 years to hold on to it. Don't tell anybody about that. People will think you're crazy. They're going to lock you up for this. You're going to be laughed at, judged. No one will ever believe you, and so on. And I'm done living that way, and this fear will be broken right now in this episode. And I don't want to draw it out, but I'm just saying, like, this does mean a lot to me, and it does. It had to happen for the world to know. So you guys that are watching this are going to be added to the list of the only two people that know. So 6 years ago, I just started dating my wife. I wouldn't even really call it that. I don't even know if we were 100% official. Um, but I was helping her out a lot, and we were hanging out and just like getting to know each other. And she had like she was a youth leader, so she was like helping the kids out in church activities and everything they were doing in the summer. And I would go help with that and help her like carry things in and set up whatever game they were playing and so on. Now, all this was fairly new to me, right? Like I kind of I'm coming at a point in my life where I gave up on all of that, and I was living my own ways and following the world. And I was giving her a lot of problems because I thought life was how I was living it, and there was nothing else to it. Like I was drinking, clubbing on the weekends, hanging out with some sketchy people, just nothing good, probably dodging bullets of a lot of very bad decisions. I thank God for him still hanging with me when I was at my absolute worst during that time. And That's just one thing about him. He just sticks by you even when you're even when you're stupid. And I got to say it that way. He loves you regardless, and he still sees the bigger picture for you, no matter what you're deciding. I just hope you guys that are watching this just please make that turn, because I've been I've been on my worst day without him, and I've been on my best day with him, and I would honestly I would pick him every time is what I'm getting at. No doubt I could go back to the world and have everything that I was doing, all the quote unquote fun and experiences and chemicals and whatever else, um, money, whatever this world has to give. If it was seriously on a table in front of me, you could have all this until you die, or a relationship with God. I would pick the relationship with God every single time, and I promise you guys that. he provides so much more than this world has to give. But I just really want to touch on that point. It's not what I'm trying to get at to say at the end of this. I'm sorry. Kind of off track there. I just felt my spirit wanted me to say that before I dove into what I was closing with. Back to the closing though. Yeah. So my wife was doing a lot of stuff. I mean, she still does, but she was doing a lot of stuff for God. At that time, she was locked in, like doing a youth group and just amazing things, right? And like I said, I was never around that or never really like involved with that. Like I had my big breakthrough in when I was at basic training with him, but then I came back and chose the world almost instantly, which it presented itself of this is way better than um, what I was doing, reading every day, praying every day, just having conversations with him every day. And the fun and everything blinded me. So I was coming from that. And, then Leah popped up, my wife, and she was like really just trying to get me back to it. And man, like I'll tell you what, everything in me was like I can't give this up. Like drinking's too much fun. Like these people, my friends, like there's just so much fun, the things we experiment, there's things we experience and do, and um, it's all too much to give up. Like God wouldn't want me to give up everything. Like, and it was all just the enemy playing the games, and I was following it until one night, and this is my main closing thing that only two people know. Um, One night I went to bed, okay, and I was limited at home still. So I went to bed at my mom's house and I had this dream where I uh, I was on my way back to work. Now, in real life time, I was suffering an ankle injury because way back then, 6+ years ago, I used to load trucks at UPS and there was like a massive avalanche of boxes that fell, and I was trying to walk through them and clean them up, and one of them was super heavy and didn't move, so my foot fell into it and just kind of sprained it pretty bad. So I was on leave for that till it healed, and that's where this dream picked up. Is I was going back to work. Now, when I got to work, everything was changed. Like a lot of the setups were different. And I remember walking through like the main open day and there was like these towers of boxes everywhere. And like they started like falling. And I remember like I was jumping around trying to dodge them and like crawl over top of them. It was just like a massive maze of chaos and all this stuff. And then I get to the point where this guy, he was like walking me through it, like this new UPS like tour guide, HR, whatever you want to call him. Excuse me. And he's walking me through it, and he was trying to get me to the back to talk to the boss or something like that. He was saying, and we finally go through all this chaos, and we get there, and I remember like I wasn't like happy with it, and he was like, yeah, like so if you want to come back and start, let us know. And like internally, I'm like, I can't come back to this. Like this place is a mess. I'm hurt already. I just got healed. This place, the new setup of it is destructive and it's chaos. I don't want to go back to that. So I remember in the dream, I kind of go home, but it's like one of those dreams where like you just teleport and you're home. So I go home, and then I went to tell my mom like, hey, like you're gonna be mad at me, but I'm not going back to work. That place is crazy. And I go into her room because I couldn't find her anywhere. And then I walked into the bathroom and she has like a walk-in closet. Well, she was in there, and I remember I walked in and she was like standing there praying, and I'm like, hey, like I don't know what's going on, but I just want to tell you, like, don't be mad at me. I'm not going back to work. And she like turned to me and was like, she started saying like thank you Jesus, like you saved my son, and like all this crazy powerful stuff that I never seen before. And I'm standing in the dream like, what is going on? And then like at the top of the one closet wall, there's like this circle window, and it starts shining like super bright at me. And I rise up probably 10 feet, no, like definitely at least 10 feet. And then I like get pulled through the air slowly towards this window. And when I like hit the window, it opens. So it's practically like a glass door at this point, I guess you can say. And when I go through it, I end up in this uh, kind of look like a waiting room area. And I go in, and there's like I go through like this hallway, and then this whole time at this point I'm only like 2 feet off the ground. It is crazy. Like my actual body, I remember my actual self, my mind thinking, what is happening? Like, am I on drugs or something? What kind of dream is this? You know how like you could kind of like have that feeling like of real life and dream at the same time. It was in this situation, it was like that. And I was roughly about 2 feet off the ground this whole time now. And I go through this waiting room, and I remember there's this desk right in the middle of the room. It's like what shape? Like a oval type. And I I go up to it, and there's like this check-in desk guy standing there, and he like looks at me, and then he like goes back to looking at the computer and notes or something. And I like, we don't have any conversation, just that little interaction. I loop around to the other side of the desk, and then in that moment is when all this was like real. It was Jesus himself. Um, he was sitting on the ground, and once I seen him, I remember like it's like all the all the breath in me got taken out, but I was still able to breathe. It wasn't like I was dying or anything scary, but it was breathtaking. Like it was undeniably the real him in front of me, kind of like sitting, kneeling on the ground, uh, type of thing going on. And I once I seen him, and I felt like the air go, it was just breathtaking. I like slowly land in front of him to like a seating position that like he's in, and I instantly look at him, and I'm like, it's you, it is you. And he like, I'll never forget this. Out of the whole dream, like this one just like this whole moment is scarring, but this right here, he kind of like does like a chuckle, I guess. And he like looks to the left, like, yeah. You know how people do that when you're what is like, what's an example when you meet someone famous, you're like, oh yo, like I spent forever trying to meet you, like how you doing, and like I can't believe this. And they kind of just like humbly like laugh, like, yeah, it's me. Like, it was almost exactly like that. So yeah, he looks at the left side, he's like, he didn't say anything like that. He just does that, and I just kept saying it, like I over and over, like I could not believe it. It was like insane. So I was like, "It's you, it's you, it's really you." And then after he like did like the little humble laugh, whatever you want to call it, he looks back at me, and he like puts up his hand. He's like, "Okay, now like stop. It's okay." And I'm like, "But it's you." And he's like, "I want you to point." He points over to his left, and he's like, "I want you to look at this right here." So I turn, and in that half wall of the desk that was over there, like that oval, there was like a cutout in it, and there was like two shelves. and it had all these glass kind of like knickknacks that like your grandma would collect, but like each of them were like all things I liked. It was weird. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I'm like, yeah, I see this. I was like, what do you want me to see here? And like I remember there was like a hockey player jumping the boards to like make a line change. Um, there was like scissor hands from Johnny Depp's movie. There was a Christmas tree, like that's my favorite time of the year. Like just all this stuff that I like just liked that like I guess you could say resembled me. And I'm like, yeah, I see all this, and I like turn back and look at him. I'm like, but really, it's you. And I see it. He reaches over and he picks one up, and he like does this. Like if I'm him, he like points it at me, and he's like, "Do you know who this is?" And at this point, I do like a little giggle, chuckle, whatever you want to say. And I'm like, yeah, I know who that is, but can we talk about you being here? And he's like, stop. Do you really know who this is? And I'm like, yes, I know who that is. And I'm like, but you. And he's like, well, if you know who it is, then that's all. And I'm like, wait, like, no, like, you're here. And he's like, he puts up his hand. He's like, if you know who it is, then we're okay here. And then I instantly, like a strike of lightning, I wake up, real world, and my body, I've never experienced this in my whole entire life of existence. My body sits straight up 90 degrees, like on the fly within like a millisecond. I could never even replicate it. My whole body was in full shivers as if I just got struck by lightning. I mean, like I was actually sitting there, full body just vibrating out of control. Like everything on me was just buzzing. Um, and I was instantly bawling my eyes out. But it wasn't with like sadness or fear. Like my brain wasn't even really thinking yet, but it was just my actual body reacting to who just showed up. Like that was actually him. And I know like we have dreams of like crazy stuff, right? And I've had dreams about where like I was a pro athlete, where I had some like killer time with my friends, like everything. But every time I woke up, I mean, nothing in this world or any dream I ever had compared to this one. I sat up 9 degrees in a millisecond, full shaking, and this is all at once, bawling my eyes out. And I remember, yeah, as I rose up, I took this giant breath in, and I just felt it. I mean, it was crazy, and I jumped straight out of bed and I ran. I woke my mom up out of her sleep, and I was just bawling, and I'm like, uh, Jesus was in my dream, like the real him was there, and like I went through and told her it all. And then I went back to my room, and it's really early in the morning. It's probably I never used to get up, but it was like 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. And I'm calling my wife over and over again, trying to get her up. I called her like 20 times, and she finally wakes up like, what? And I have like all of this energy. It felt like I slept for 50 hours straight. Like I'm on a high, and I tell her the whole thing, and she's trying to like wake up. She's like, are you serious? Like, no way. But guys, I want to get back to the point of that dream, because honestly, it did not hit me until last year what that even was, or what he was really there for. It ended up coming through my wife, to be honest. And I think we were just in the car driving somewhere, and she was like, you know what? She's like, you remember that dream you had like 100 years ago when Jesus like showed up? I'm like, yeah, like I'll never forget it. And she's like, you said like he showed you some figure that you undeniably knew, and I could even describe it to you. I skipped that, but it was a guy figure. He was in a full nice black suit, full tilt, blacked out, clean, and but the face and stuff of it was like kind of blurry. And I was just so focused on him. Like I was told him, like, yeah, I know who that is, but like it's you. Um, my wife told me, like, I would say, yeah, it was like last year or so. She was like, excuse me, she's like, I'm really getting told that that little glass figure was you, and that's why you had the reaction you had. I'm sorry. That's why you had the reaction like he had when you were all hype about it's him, it's being him. When he showed you you and what your true potential self looked like, um, when you're following like the right way and stuff, that it was a little blurry to you because you weren't really there yet. But he was giving you a heads up, like this is who you are. Like figure out, you got to figure it out. You got to lock in with me and get your actual real identity, not just the stuff I was chasing and how I was living with, like I said, all the sinful stuff. That's why it was blurry to me, and it made sense. It almost like was a punch in the face where I'm like, yeah, I think that actually makes so much sense. That was me, but I didn't know it was. It's like my dream self knew it was me, but my physical self didn't know it was me because of when I woke up, that little part was just blurry. But it was me. It was my true identity with Christ, and my lifestyle with Him. And now I practice every day now, getting to whatever that glass figures my full potential. I want to see that. I want to see that come to life. I hope I get to see my identity as the way he was showing it to me. I want to do whatever it takes. That's why I sit here before you guys, and I know this is a longer episode here, and I really practice this stuff. This is why I write you guys these episodes and get these verses out for you, because I want you guys to also know your true identity and get led from glory to glory and see what the big purpose is at the end of your life here, and that when you go through the right gate, that you know why. um but I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm so happy that the enemy can't steal that dream from me anymore because of embarrassment or people being stupid and judging it or whatever. People just think I made it up because I want to look good on camera. Who knows what they can come up with nowadays? But i'm um I'm so proud I finally got to get that out on the web in the world for you guys, and just I'll seriously take that dream to the grave. Like I'll never say, nothing in this world will ever make me say, nah, that was made up, that was fake. I don't care what it is. I mean, even killing me would never make me say, oh, before I die, yeah, that dream was fake. Like that was so real. I never had anything more real than that dream where he decided to show up in as like himself. I mean, it was just it's speechless. And he was in, I didn't get to really touch on this much, but he was in like pure white that was just like shining, like bright as can be, with this giant glow around him that was like so strong, but it like did not hurt your eyes. Like I could look at him dead on, and like the sun was like behind him, but I was like drawn to it. Like I was like a bug. You know what I mean? I mean, it was, I could, man, I'm speechless just thinking about it. Sorry. But yeah, guys, I ending this episode. I know it's a long run. I hope most of you guys are still with me here, but I really want you to press in. I'm going to leave that with you today at the end of this episode. Press in and really figure out your real identity. Figure out your little glass figure, whatever you want to call it, and make sure you do know like your true self with him and your identity of what you should be doing rather than what you shouldn't. And he'll lead you from glory to glory. He has big plans for you, and he's never done writing the best of your story yet. So just don't give up. But that's going to do it for our episode. I do want to end it with this also. It's been a long week. I've been so excited to share this with you guys. And as I'm sitting here counting down the 7 days from Wednesday to Wednesday, I'm like, man, these are getting longer. Like I have like a hunger to give you guys more. So I'm looking at doing 2 episodes a week, maybe like a Sunday episode and then a Wednesday, kind of like so there's like a consistent flow rather than these long breaks. Because like, man, I just can't wait to share his word with you guys and help you guys out and see where you guys end up when you choose him and what he brings for your life. It's all just exciting stuff. So yeah, look out for that. There's probably gonna be 2 episodes a week now, um, and I'm writing them away. I mean, he's giving me great ideas for you guys and reasons and plans. I mean, this is just phenomenal. But I'm so excited to not only figure out my full potential identity with him, but also like see you guys as well. Like that's what this is about. So thanks for tuning in. Episode was on the longer side, but it was a great reason. I hope it helps at least one of you. Don't ever be afraid to reach out, comment, react. But yeah, he's doing great things, and just never quit. Okay, I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.